throw the ball skyward. And Emoji Gibson grabs it. Sooners will get the first look. Jordan Goldwire. Now Tanner Groves. Quick post-up try against Tordoff. Double team arrives. And a steal for the Huskies to start things. This is Jade C., the point guard out of Queens, New York. He's a transfer from Salt Lake Community College. Tordoff might have gotten away with one. Missed it. And Jalen Hill, who is the Sooners' leading rebounder, has this one.
When Oklahoma, when they throw it inside, the last possession, Chad turned it over on the double team. So you got to make a mental note of that if you're Tanner Groves and the other Sooner teammates.
Goldwire misfires on a three-point try. He is 4 of 14 from three-point range this season. 1 minute in, no score between the Sooners and the Huskies.
Yeah, Chad, and watch Houston Baptist. They want to play quicker most of the time, but tonight I think you'll see them slow the pace down and try to get into a possession-by-possession game. That's the best way that they can hang in there.
Here's your Sooners starting five. It is presented by Flogistics, maximizing your resources. Tanner Groves picks up his first foul. He is in that starting five, and this has become a familiar starting five. Goldwire, the Duke transfer, Elijah Harkless and Jalen Hill, holdovers from the Lon Kruger era. Tanner Groves and Emoji Gibson also out there, who is the Sooners' second leading scorer. For the Huskies and Ron Cottrell, Boothman, C., Darius Lee, Tordoff is at the foul line, and Sam Hoffman. So the first point goes to HBU. Tordoff is a guy that they hope can be a little more offensive, and maybe this going to him early is a sign of that. They want to try to get him involved.
Yeah, there's not a ton of depth in the interior at the 4 and 5.
And this has become a familiar starting five. Goldwire, the Duke transfer, Elijah Harkless and Jalen Hill, holdovers from the Lon Kruger era. Tanner Groves and Emoji Gibson also out there, who is the Sooners' second leading scorer. For the Huskies and Ron Cottrell, Boothman, C., Darius Lee, Tordoff is at the foul line, and Sam Hoffman. Can be a little more offensive, and maybe this going to him early is a sign of that. They want to try to get him involved.
Yeah, there's not a ton of depth in the interior at the 4 and 5 for Coach Cottrell, but he's more of a natural 4. But he's going to have to play some 5 as well. And I agree with you. They're going to try to get him going here in the non-conference to prepare for Southland Conference play in January.
Tanner Groves double teamed. Jalen Hill with 10 on the shot clock to the bucket. Little ball fake up, over, and off the mark. Jalen Hill was on the all-tournament team out in Myrtle Beach. He's had a very good start. Maybe Oklahoma's most consistent guy, Brendan.
Yeah, and probably the best overall two-way player, meaning he plays both ends of the floor. He makes such great decisions on the offensive end, and he's a versatile defender. But I think they would like him to continue to be even more aggressive offensively. They're going to need that in the long run.
Tordoff attacking Tanner Groves, traveled with the basketball as we jump into Brendan's Keys. They are presented by Riverwind Casino, still the one. What do you have, Brendan?
Yeah, understand the free throw line. Now, this was a great quote that we heard today from Coach Moser, from Rick Majerus, his mentor. Understanding the line, the value of getting there, and the importance of it. Oklahoma has not done a great job through 5 games doing that. And then the second thing, Chad, tonight, we mentioned it in the open, no drop-off from the bench, meaning when he goes to the bench, they've got to have continued intensity, no breakdowns defensively, and some aggressive play on the offensive end at the right time from those guys checking in.
Porter Moser's Sooners led in the championship game out in Myrtle Beach by 6 points with 5 minutes left. As you said, some ill-advised shots. Those are still sticking with the head coach even a few days later. Hard to let those go because it was there. It was there for them to win.
Yeah, and they played well. And Utah State is a veteran, older team. Chad, you were out there, well coached. You know, they'll finish in the upper third of the Mountain West Conference. So a good ball club, but definitely one that he felt they let slip away just because of some late game decision making.
Jordan Goldwire had his dribble shut off. There's Harkless, and he traveled with it. Ball fake and then shuffled his feet. Couple of turnovers against the Sooners and a quick substitution. We will see the freshman Alston Mason replacing Jordan Goldwire at that point guard spot.
Now Mason, one of those young players, basically playing spot minutes, about 9 minutes a game right now. But in the long run, they love him. They love his competitive nature. He's going to be a good player in time.
It's going to be 2 fouls on Tanner Groves. Just difficulty staying in front of the quicker Tate Boothman. Boothman out of Buckeye, Arizona Union High School.
And you see right there. And Coach Moser will bring in Shagwa to get him out of that. That's big. And in terms of long-term, Chad, it's going to be important for Tanner Groves to be able to contain some out on the perimeter with the athleticism of some of the bigs in the Big 12 Conference.
Sam Hoffman gets the first field goal of the night, and it's 3-0 in favor of the Huskies. Umoja Gibson, a blocking foul coming here against C, who was trying to draw the charge. But a lot of substitutions here. Umoja Gibson and Jalen Hill, the only 2 Sooners starters still on the floor.
I don't think he likes the way those starters have begun the basketball game, and right there, no question about that call. But you see what HBU is doing, which everybody else will, Chad, is you want to be out there when Gibson catches it on a three-point line. Has such a quick release.
And Boothman had a good closeout that time. Mason for 3. And that's off the mark. Sooners begin this one 0 for 2. Both 3-point tries. Here's Boothman. Tate Boothman, Buckeye, Arizona, preseason All-Southland Conference. He was second team All-League a season ago. He can shoot it.
Yeah, really shoots it and looks for that 3. Another guy that you've got to run off that 3-point line.
All the way under the goal goes C. Boothman attacks, a nice find in Tordoff, and Tordoff lays it in.
Now, one of the things that HBU will do well, Chad, is they'll move it side to side. I mean, it's not a situation where Coach Cottrell is going to let that ball stick. And so if you have poor closeouts and allow that penetration to force help, the end result is what happened on that last possession defensively for Oklahoma.
Ethan Shagwa found himself wide open, but he misfires on a long 2. Here come the Huskies. Approaching our first media timeout. Sooners have yet to dent the scoring column. And that's going to be a palming violation, or carrying. Second turnover against the Huskies. And we're going to see Rick Isanza, the 7-footer, for the first time tonight.
Isanza, Chad, as you well know, a guy that gives Oklahoma something that nobody else on the roster has. Tremendous length, wingspan, could be one of those true rim protectors. I mean, he's a defensive guy, and then offensively, when they clear the glass, a rim runner. And he played really well against East Carolina in their opening game out there in Myrtle Beach. 7 points in 8 minutes. They need more of that from him.
Umoja Gibson putting it on the deck, missed the 3, and that is out of bounds off of Isanza. Sooners an 0 for 5 start at our first media timeout. 5-0. Houston Baptist is on top. You're watching Sooner basketball presented by OU Health.
Ability, right, of how to attack HBU and get going offensively. So, as one of my former coaches used to say, they needed a do-better talk, and I'm sure Coach Moser gave them that in the under-16 timeout.
Sooners full court pressure, nearly rim to rim went C, but he was stripped by Umoja Gibson. Jordan Goldwire has returned, and here he is.
Yeah, and the other thing is Goldwire's got to take control of this team. I mean, he will do that. And as I mentioned, Coach Moser brings him out, and that's what he was talking to. I mean, he visited with him over there, and with Groves out now, he's really got to manage and get these guys going offensively.
This is Jacob Groves, the younger of the 2 brothers, with a jump hook that gets the Sooners on the board. So Jacob Groves gets the Sooners their first deuce nearly 5 minutes in.
And one of the things about him, he really shoots it well. He's confident on the offensive end, but he has great energy. He's always got a bounce in his step, and you want that from guys coming off the bench.
C slides in the back door, takes the pass from Iyeyemi, and lays it in for a 7-2 lead. Sooners set to bring Tanner Groves and Bijan Cortez in at the next stoppage. Goldwire all the way to the rim, but too strong. Sooners will get a reset.
Well, if you're HBU, you have to have a positive start, and they've had that so far.
This is C.J. Nolan, the Sooner freshman. Gibson is wide open. No. And the rebound is out of bounds off the Sooners' Rick Isanza. So there's Tanner Groves back into the game.
Yeah, so there's our answer. You know, when key players get 2 fouls early, it's usually a feel thing, and a lot of times coaches will buy time, feel their way through it, whether they'll enter the game or not, and at what point, and he gets him right back in there because the offense is struggling. So he's going to trust an experienced senior, a 4-year guy at the collegiate level, to go play. Now, he can continue to be solid defensively, but he's got to stay away from that 3rd foul, obviously.
And you would imagine that HBU will go right in there after him. Bijan Cortez rebounds and ups the tempo. C.J. Nolan banging his way in. So tough to move off the ball and powers his way to the bucket. You can't take him off the ball.
And the thing about him, he's a really good shooter, and he's got a great first step.
There's Bijan Cortez active in the passing lane, but HBU hangs on with Kristen Corsalt out of Los Angeles. Double transfer. Spent some time at the University of Nevada. And we're headed the other way. Corsalt couldn't handle the pressure from Groves and Cortez. That's the 4th HBU turnover.
And a good job of Cortez and Groves keeping him in the trap, both moving their feet, and they each, if you notice, had a cushion. Used their size to force him under duress.
Bijan Cortez played some good minutes in Myrtle Beach for the Sooners. All the way to the bucket. Sooners working it around. Nolan reverses it. No. This is Long weaving his way to the foul line. Elijah Harkless back in there defending.
Well, that's 2 bunnies that Oklahoma has missed off the drive. Goldwire earlier, and then Nolan on that last possession.
Shot clock is down to 10. Long against Jacob Groves. Iyeyemi catches, and we will have an offensive foul. Tanner Groves took that charge, risking foul number 3, but he took the bump from Deshaun Proctor.
Well, you got to continue to play position defense just because you have those 2 fouls. And he gets over there, and that's a bang-bang play because the driver had already left his feet. And so a break for Oklahoma, because that certainly could have gone either way.
Now, they have on the score sheet next to us just 1 foul against Tanner Groves. So we're going to have to check on that, who the other one was awarded to. So 1 or 2 fouls, we will check. Elijah Harkless out to Tanner Groves. Harkless had that ball knocked away and right back at him. He's called for traveling with it. Good defensive play by Kristen Corsalt. So we understand now that one of the 2 fouls was given to Elijah Harkless and not Tanner Groves earlier. 7-4, HBU on top, 12.5 to play here in this first half.
Well, we overanalyzed there then, Chad.
We did.
We got excited about nothing. That's great news, again, because that allows, obviously, Porter Moser tremendous flexibility. You have to have Tanner Groves in the ballgame, especially when you're struggling on the offensive end.
Sooners force the 5th turnover. That's 3 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes for HBU. Sooners doing a good job defensively. Can they get it going on the offensive end? Oklahoma right now is scoreless from 3-point range, and Elijah Harkless just taking it right to the bucket. He'll have a chance to tie the game from the foul line.
Great offense right here. Watch Harkless come over the top. The handoff from Groves, and then a straight line drive right down the gut of the defense. And here's Harkless. Boom, right here. They need more of this from Harkless. We mentioned how Oklahoma, through 5 games, hasn't gotten to the line very much. And we talked to Coach Moser about that this afternoon. And asked specifically, who are those guys that need to do that? And Harkless is one. He's athletic. He's become a better shooter, Chad. I would say he's serviceable right now. Took some threes at times against Utah State when he could have driven it. And these guys have got to start getting downhill, especially Harkless at 6'3", 210 or whatever he is. I mean, he is a strong perimeter player, and they need more of that.
Sooners have outscored HBU 7-2 in the last 3 minutes to tie this game. C peels around to the wing and resets now. Motioning the offense through. There goes C all the way to the baseline. Thompson runs into Bijan Cortez. He lost it, but there will be a foul on Cortez as we hit another timeout. 7 apiece. Pre-Thanksgiving holiday hoops inside the Lloyd Noble Center. That is a good thing for the Sooners, no question. Jason Thompson at the foul line. Thompson's out of Charlotte, 3rd year at HBU, 6'7", and from the foul line now 4 of 9 on the season. HBU's lone win coming over Barclay. They hit 22 threes in that win.
I had never heard of Barclay.
Nor I. And we've been doing this a while.
Outside of a financial institution.
Well, maybe they've got a ball team.
Well, they need to guard the 3 a little better.
Yeah, I would agree. Bijan Cortez and Jalen Hill out there for the Sooners. Long runs through the passing lane, gets a near steal.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I mean, you allow HBU to hang in, they obviously have the ability to knock down 3-point shots. And so Oklahoma, we're approaching the midway through the first half. We're starting to settle in a little bit, certainly defensively. It's where separation has got to begin.
Elijah Harkless, no. Sooners still scoreless from 3-point range tonight. 8-7 HBU. 11:15 to play in the opening half. Jade C going to work.
You see C, he's not a guy that's going to overextend in transition.
Bijan Cortez steals the ball. Headed back the other way. Thompson blocked it. It'll be Sooner ball.
Boy, great job. Watch him get in the passing lane, and he has his left arm up the floor. And when you knock it free, Chad, it basically punches it forward for you. That's great textbook run through from a guy that's been well coached at Kingfisher and obviously getting well coached his freshman year defensively from Porter Moser.
Jalen Hill. Lane was wide open, but he got cut off by Tordoff, and Tordoff fouled him.
That play right there, Chad. Hill gets himself to the line, but as soon as the defender rotated over, watch him, he has the angle. You're going to see potentially right here. Watch him flash. Boom. When he goes to the left, just keep going. I mean, you've got the angle, explode through, and those are the things we're talking about in terms of Oklahoma getting to the foul line. He had already turned the corner. He's strong, he's physical, he's skilled. Just keep going.
Coming into the night, Jalen Hill had more rebounds than anybody in the Big 12 Conference. He's averaging 8 boards per game. And from the foul line, as that one is good, he is now 10 of 11. And the Sooners able to manage their first lead of the night with 10:52 to play in the first half.
Yeah, you know, I've always liked Hill since his freshman year because he does so many things well at both ends. You know, you mentioned averaging 9 and 8 so far this season. I mean, he's shooting 69% from the floor.
Here comes Goldwire's. Tanner Groves picked it up, and Elijah Harkless missed the lay-in, but Goldwire is there to put it back up and in. And the Sooners starting to put the pieces together. A timeout taken by Ron. Starting 5 right here, midway through this opening half. Darius Lee with it, 6'6" senior from Harlem, New York. Trying to post Tordoff inside. Tanner Groves doing a good job fronting him, and Jalen Hill blocked that one. Gibson finding Groves one-on-one against Tordoff. Omoja gunning for 3, in and out.
Yeah, I liked it better early in the game when they threw it to Groves and you had some kind of action from Oklahoma. You either got to relocate Chad or exchange or go screen for a teammate. Sooners just standing out on the perimeter watching.
Tordoff splashes that one home, and it's 11-10 Sooners. Oklahoma struggling from the 3-point line, which has been a rarity this season. The Sooners into the night leading the Big 12 in threes per game and total threes made. They made at least 8 threes in every game so far this year. You mentioned it earlier. They have shot it well.
Yeah, no, it's been a consistent part of who they are. It's not an accident, and it's mostly predicated on the ability to share the basketball.
Goldwire, some sharing there from Jalen Hill, and the Sooners back up 3.
Tell you, if HBU can shore up taking care of the basketball and being careless, they'll be just fine. And a lot of these have nothing to do with Oklahoma, although they've been sound defensively.
There goes C, high arcing shot that lands.
That's the defensive version of a announcer jinx right there, Chad.
I think you're right.
It's bragged on Oklahoma's defense, and there's a straight line drive right down the lane.
Elijah Harkless guns for 3. That's the first of the night for the Sooners from three-point range.
Well, that's an improvement in Harkless's game. Only made 17 of those last year. Didn't take a lot. 32% from there. And I will also say again, he's got to drive it more. Half his shots so far this year have come from three-point range.
Tordoff inside, lays it in. Little pick and roll. And that action works.
Yeah, Tordoff, and you mentioned it earlier, Chad, a huge key, somebody who's important for HBU this year. And he's played well so far in the first half here tonight.
He's a big body. They got to play him out there, and now they're getting a little offense from him. He guards Emoji Gibson there. Sooners reverse it to Goldwire, and his 3 is off the mark. Porter Moser so big on the right guys taking the right shots. Like to get Emoji Gibson open from downtown a little more. That's an air ball from Jason Thompson. Goldwire. And there is Emoji Gibson in and out. It's been close. A couple of them have been about halfway down and back out. He has the green light almost all the time.
Yeah, he's the best shooter. Quick release, great at spotting up. But again, Chad, I'll say it. I thought Goldwire could have taken it to the rim on the last possession. Why not go up strong?
He takes it to the rim here and has it knocked away and out of bounds.
Well, Oklahoma off to a slow start. Their first league in the country, top to bottom, and it has been for years. I mean, the quality and its depth, there's no other conference like it.
Yeah, T.J. Otzelberger, first-year coach at Iowa State. They've got a 9-point lead against Xavier in the NIT season tip-off tonight. Keep an eye on some of those games. Marvin Johnson has it. He's in for the first time. Transfer from the Sooners, and he's gunning away. The Eastern Illinois transfer. Missed his first field goal try. He's athletic, talented, could really score the basketball at Eastern Illinois, where he was all-conference in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah, really good player. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, he's a guy that's got a lot of potential offensively. He's just got to get to where he is making good decisions. Grew up in Ardmore, ended up playing for former Oklahoma great Terry Evans at Edmond North. They won a state championship there, but I mean, he'd be a nice piece if they could get him going a little bit.
Ethan Shagwa, the SMU transfer, is also in. Here's Goldwire. Emoji Gibson down to Shagwa. One-on-one against Iyeyemi. C.J. Nolan lost it. That's picked up by Boothman. Sooners have turned it over 6 times in the first half. Boothman staring it down. Just can't get it into Iyeyemi. Shot clock is at 13. Corsalt all the way under the goal. No. Iyeyemi. Shot clock did not reset, and a Sooner foul with 3 seconds on the shot clock. That'll be on Shagwa. That's his first.
Well, I'll be honest, not pretty basketball here tonight so far. And that's Oklahoma gives up the baseline drive, force help situation, and that leaves Iyeyemi wide open on that weak side. When you're forced to help, that weak side big usually becomes available on the offensive end.
You know, not to make excuses for either team, but the Sooners played 3 games in 4 days. You get And Monday, you're just still trying to get feet underneath you. You had Tuesday off and you play here Wednesday. And HBU's on a 3-game road trip. We mentioned they've played Denver. They've played Texas A&M. They came in from Denver and just essentially they came in on Monday. So they've been here for a couple of days. But you go on a road trip away from home for 3 days. That is never easy. Or for 3 games, I should say. That's never easy. Oh, and Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Nobody's thinking ahead, though. Yemi rims that one in.
Chad, it's usually the game before Christmas.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That is where teams struggle.
Goldwire off the screen from Tanner Groves. There's Gibson. Good look. And still hasn't hit one from downtown. Mo's 0 for 4 from 3-point range. 5 minutes left in the opening half, tied at 16.
Yeah, he made 4 against Utah State on Sunday.
That's a tough move, and Boothman got it to go. We've got a timeout. 18-16 HBU, and Porter Moser takes a timeout. This is a
kind of go over. Okay, guys, just a reminder. Here's what HBU does. Here's what we're going to do here. He treats it like a practice, and he is not liking a lot of what's going on at both ends of the floor here so far tonight.
Sooners have the freshmen Nolan and Mason into the guard spot right now. Austin Mason traveled with it, trying to take off, shuffled his feet. 6 Sooner turnovers.
Man, he's just trying to find a group that can get in some sync, make a little run together, and try to get this lead back.
Boothman and Hoffman playing catch out front. This is Hoffman with a 3. That's off the mark. But a reset here for the Huskies. Darius Lee comes up with a rebound. Lee is averaging 9 rebounds per game for HBU. He just has a nose for it, doesn't he? That foul is the second on Tanner Groves.
Yeah. We sure?
Yes.
Because I sure made a big deal about what I thought was the second one, about the 16, 17-minute mark.
Well, he's only got 2 now, not 3. So let's not double check. We approach 4 minutes left in the half. Boothman out to get it. Shot clock is at 10 for HBU. Boothman swiveled right around the double team, but Nolan stripped it briefly. C for 3. Got it.
I'll tell you what, C is the type of point guard that doesn't look to score much. He manages the ball club in the half court, but he is a guy that has shown he can make plays when the shot clock winds down. That just was a tough make right there from C.
That's HBU's first made 3 of the night. They've only taken 3. Jalen Hill has it taken from him. Boothman scraped it up off the deck. 5-point lead is the largest of the night for HBU, but there's an illegal screen with Yemi taking out Elijah Harkless.
Well, HBU later, you get the defense to shift, and hopefully it forces some kind of help situation, and then you make an extra pass and you get some kind of good look. That has not been the way it's gone for Oklahoma so far, and it's not allowed them to get into any flow or rhythm.
Zone defense out of the timeout. Sooners execute beautifully, and Goldwire gets a lay-in out of it.
Boy, great job right there. And Chad, you have to attack a zone inside first. Oklahoma did that. Terrific ball movement. Didn't even need to hit the floor, and they get a lay-in.
Get the ball flat. I've heard that before. What do we mean by get the ball flat against the zone, Brendan?
Along the baseline. You got to get that low wing to come play. That guy handling it along the baseline. Good things happen.
Like Jalen Hill did on the last possession. Emoji Gibson. This is a 2. Boothman had the rebound. He got knocked over by Sam Hoffman, who picked it up. JC at the controls. Leader in assists a season ago for this team. He's the distributing point guard. There he goes. Lee. Little bump, got some space off of Jalen Hill and scored it.
Yeah, nice job right there, because a big size difference between C and Jalen Hill.
7-point lead, largest for the Huskies, and they get a steal. This is Darius Lee the other way, punches it home. Steal and a slam, and Porter Moser takes another timeout. Sooners are down 9 now with less than 2 minutes left in this first half. So Goldwire, Harkless. We now have Jacob Groves and Tanner Groves out there for the Sooners, and Umoja Gibson. Jacob Groves and Tanner, 15 to shoot here for the Sooners. Tanner Groves launches a 3 off the mark. And Oklahoma 1 of 11 from 3-point range here in the opening half.
So one of the things that is a little bit of a downside if you have Tanner Groves out on the perimeter, which he needs to be, but you lose some bulk in terms of offensive rebounding.
That went off the foot of somebody. They say Lee. So Goldwire defends Lee and forces yet another turnover. HBU's turned it over 13 times in the half. They lead by 9. What an anomaly this is.
Yeah, Chad. I mean, if we were told 106 left, or if Ron Contra was told you turn it over 13 times, he wouldn't believe that he would have a 9-point lead. It says a lot about them and their grit tonight defensively. They've been really, really good.
1 minute left opening half. Goldwire over to Jacob Groves. Tordoff, I think, got hit in the face there, and that created an opening, and I think they may check on Tordoff here. But it left an opening for Groves, and he deposits it. Get the Sooners.
That may be the quickest
review ever.
Review on the monitor, the history of officiating.
Less than a minute left. Boothman behind a screen, and Harkless the Sooner rebound.
And right there, that probably felt quick because HBU has slowed the game down, but that was about 2 for 1. HBU an opportunity with a stop here. They're going to get most likely the last possession offensively of the half.
Goldwire shakes his way toward the bucket. No, tipped in by Ethan Shegwa.
And that's what happens, Chad, when you drive it and you force some kind of help. That leaves that weak side open for the big.
So HBU indeed will get the final look to close out the half. There goes C right to the bucket. He's got some quickness, but he missed it. Harkless launches at the buzzer short. And HBU leads by 5 inside the Lloyd Noble Center after one half of basketball. Certainly a surprise.
These teams from a conference that's not as powerful as a Big 12, that they're intimidated or scared. They do this all the time. So the lights and the level of play does not affect them.
And you see these teams that they've done it a couple of times already this season. So it's not a strange environment to them. Shot clock down to 7 for HBU. This is Tordoff, who had the 9 points in the first half. That 3 out of the corner misses from Tate Boothman, and here come the Sooners.
So Oklahoma right there 2 different times trapping the ball screen and keeping the dribbler in it until he picks it up.
They post Tanner Groves against Tordoff. Jalen Hill slashes in, gets tied up by Hoffman. And a foul call on Hoffman will be the result, I believe. No? Who'd they get? They get Tate Boothman for the reach in.
When you see HBU, how they're protecting the middle of the floor right there. And then, Chad, you asked, okay, why has Oklahoma struggled from 3? The other side of it is they've gotten to shooters pretty well for the most part.
Umoja Gibson with the first 3 of the night for him and the second for the Sooners.
And in that possession, HBU got sucked into the middle of that paint. And if there's one guy you cannot do that to, even if he hasn't hurt you yet, for Oklahoma, is Umoja Gibson.
It's only a matter of time before it happens. Tordoff out for C. Shot clock is at 10. C scoots around the double team. A kick out 3. Rims out for Hoffman. And the Sooners have a chance to tie or take the lead. Umoja Gibson, no this time. But you like that look.
Yeah, now as you mentioned, Porter Moser has told him and everybody who will listen that he has the green light. I mean, he is a guy that you want shooting it. If there's one guy in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma, that you want taking a quote-unquote marginal shot till late in the game, it's Gibson.
Porter Moser disputing this call. Very fiery over there, saying that the HBU player Hoffman was out of bounds when he touched the basketball. Instead, they call a held ball and give it to the Huskies. 10 to shoot for Hoffman. And inside, Groves and Tordoff battling. And that will be a foul on Groves. And it will be the third on Tanner Groves.
Well, Tordoff did what you're supposed to do as a big. I mean, he had Groves bodied up. Instead of Groves getting off and not letting him have that contact, he started leaning on him real hard. And they were isolated, Chad, in the lane together with no traffic. And it's really easy to see for those officials.
Boothman stepped on the sideline, pressured by Umoja Gibson there. Turnover number 14 against HBU. Sooners would like to get Tanner Groves going. Their leading scorer has not scored tonight. Might this be his first points? Yes, it will. He rings the bell from deep for his first field goal.
And that's his spot right there, Chad. That 3-point shot near the top of the arc, top of the key.
Sooners back on top by 1, 28-27. C working off a Tordoff screen. Umoja Gibson right in his hip pocket. Now Tordoff. Up and over, missed it. Elijah Harkless soared in to keep that alive.
Now, Groves has got to be careful of pulling his arms down on post defense. He's got to go straight up and down.
Elijah Harkless the rebound. And Umoja Gibson called for traveling. This place is ready to explode if Umoja Gibson makes another three. Mo struggling tonight, 1 of 7 from downtown.
Well, Gibson made the right decision there. I mean, you're going to have some quick closeouts on him. And he has good handles and quickness. And I think you're going to see a lot of that in Big 12 play, where he is able to pull up 1 or 2 dribbles and shoot a jumper.
Groves with his 3rd rebound off that miss. Now Groves catches the lob. Kind of off balance when he put that shot up. There was a little bit of contact before the shot.
Yeah, the pass wasn't great from Harkless to Groves. And those bigs, when they have an angle, they've got that defender on their hip. You've got to lead them better so they can use that angle and flow straight to the basket.
And Tordoff called for lowering his shoulder and elbow into Tanner Groves. Tordoff picks up the offensive foul. Tanner Groves has drawn 2 charges tonight.
Yeah, much better position defense. That's basically one-on-one containment. And as I mentioned, you're going to get into league play in January. And there's going to be guys that he's going to have to extend out on defensively, even at the 4 and 5 position, and be able to contain and keep in front.
Ethan Shagwa has reported for duty. Tanner Groves has 3 fouls. He's out currently. Goldwire probes the defense all the way to the bucket, and he cashes in.
Well, no question, coming out of the gate here in the second half, Chad, for Goldwire, is he is getting downhill, whether it's been in transition or in the half court. That's what they need out of him.
Sooner lead is 3, and an offensive foul again against HBU. They get Zach Iayemi with that one. Oklahoma has surged in.
Lead guard. He's your point guard, primary ball handler. That's where your energy comes from. It also comes on the defensive end. Usually those point guards are typically guarding the other team's lead guard. So much better energy downhill. It's crisp. And this looks more like the Oklahoma team we've seen through the first 5 games.
Great ball rotation. Jacob Groves will put it on the deck and hit a little jump hook floater.
See that right there? And the other thing with Goldwire having more energy is you get the defense flatter, and then it allows you to move it around the perimeter like we saw in that possession. You get more comfortable because you have more space.
This is the Sooners' largest lead. Goldwire blocks that shot of C out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Goldwire, ACC all-defensive team at Duke a season ago, led the league in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Here's that last possession. The ball had been swung side to side, Chad. Defense shift, and Jacob Groves, who is not quick, he was still able to drive it when the help came over. He's 6'9". Nice little baseline runner right there to get to go. That is crisp, sharp offense with purpose.
He's having a good night. 3 for 3 from the field. And we saw him make 6 threes in the Sooner exhibition game against Rogers State. Iyeyemi squares up and fires off the mark. The Sooners up the tempo. Goldwire sprinting the other way. Shagwa and Iyeyemi are tangled up under the bucket. Yeah, the foul's going to be on Iyeyemi. That is 3 on Iyeyemi.
You know, I think one of the things, and I am probably guilty of this, that we don't talk about or bring up enough are teams in their transition offense. You know, whether it's primary break where you have numbers, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, etc., or it's your secondary break where the defense is back, but you pushed and got directly into offense. That's the other thing Oklahoma has done. Even on that foul right there, Shagwell sprinted the floor and gets an early post up.
Harkless kicking it out for Goldwire. Shot clock is under 10. Jacob Groves at 3. In and out, no. Sean Proctor takes the rebound for HBU. Darius Lee surveys things. Sooner defense clamped down pretty good off the ball right now. And Jacob Groves produces a steal out of it. Harkless. This is the freshman C.J. Nolan. Goldwire, extra pass. Nolan's 3 is good. That was pretty basketball.
It was, and again, the ball movement is outstanding. You get that first help situation, and Chad, sometimes it doesn't have to be much. Just a dribble, drawing somebody, an extra pass. And then Shagwad, who is a very good facilitator as a big, a nice play there with Goldwire to set up the 3.
13-0 Sooner run to start the half. 5 on the shot clock. Lee trying to go to work. Knocked away from him, then blocked by Nolan, and a shot clock violation. And Porter Moser clapping his hands over there on the Sooner sideline.
Here's that ball movement. Goldwire brings the defense in. Almost 5 bodies there around the basket. The kick. And then Nolan, an excellent shooter as a freshman with nice touch. A wide open 3 from the corner.
Nolan's 4 of 9 from three-point range this season. He has really fit in as a freshman. Playing at this level hasn't been too big for him. Goldwire off a screen drills a 3. Sooners heating up from downtown here in the second half. That's a 16-0 run. And an offensive foul there as Oklahoma forces yet another turnover.
I tell you what, it's contagious, right? Good defense leads to offense. You get a couple shots to go. You gain some energy. And speaking of energy, that guy right there brings it.
He's got enough for the whole Lloyd Noble Center.
It's 24/7.
Backdoor cut. Harkless to the bucket. And a great find from Shagwa. 18-0 Oklahoma run.
There's Shagwa again. You know, the super senior was at SMU, known as a good passer. We've seen a couple here in the second half from him.
Hoffman scrambles to pick up that loose ball, and he draws a Sooner foul against Goldwire. And that's the first on Jordan Goldwire. Sooners made just 1 3. They were 1 of 12 from three-point range in the first half. In half number 2, they are 4 of 7 from downtown. Long catches that one over the shoulder. Got a pretty big football game coming up for the Sooners on Saturday evening. Long trying to bang his way to the bucket against Nolan. Shot clock is at 2 as Iyeyemi picks up a loose ball and lays it in. The first bucket of the half for the Huskies.
Boy, Iyeyemi was posting hard that entire possession. And those bigs are so reliant upon perimeter players to make good decisions. I thought they were going to miss him. They missed him 2 or 3 times, but able to get him in the end.
Nolan, the kick out for Harkless. Elijah for 3. Strong. HBU's first field goal of the second half came 7.5 minutes in. Good Sooner defense to produce this lead. Boothman forces his way in and misses. Here's Nolan running ahead, reversing, up and in. Stepped across under the bucket, shielded his body with the rim, and scored it. Sooners lead by 13.
And the other thing Oklahoma is doing better of is they're converting the large amount of turnovers from HBU to points. Much better rate here in the second half.
They have 30 points off of 19 turnovers tonight. And Nolan grabs another rebound. Jacob Groves, ball fake, and then Iyeyemi lowers a shoulder into him. Oklahoma rolling on offense.
Well, Coach Moser, my guess, no accident. They're 4 of 8 from 3-point range.
And we talked in the first half. HBU had turned the ball over a bunch, 13 times, but Oklahoma wasn't converting. They've scored 15 points off of 6 turnovers in this half. Groves open inside. Great crisp ball movement and the feed from Jalen Hill.
Yeah, there it is again. And Coach Moser, you know, if you're at his practices, you hear the term extra pass. I mean, all the time. Make the extra pass, get yourself a better shot.
Bijan Cortez has entered the lineup. Nolan with a 3. A little short.
You know, Cortez, and I watched him in high school, so I have familiarity with him, but he just makes good decisions. You know, a lot of young freshmen would have hoisted that shot up. And he's understanding, I think, right now, how as a freshman on this team can he get some minutes? It's just by being sound and solid at both ends.
He kicks that ball out of bounds. And they'll reset the shot clock from 8 out to 20 with the kick ball. JC returns for HBU. Sooners have turned a 5-point halftime deficit into a 15-point second half lead. Midway through half number 2. Boothman. They're trying to post inside Proctor against Cortez, but Cortez did a good job coming around the top. And there's a cheap foul away from the bucket against Nolan. That's the first on CJ. Sooners have committed 3 fouls here in the half. And now Jalen Hill whistled for a similar foul. First on Jalen. HBU. C back at the controls. Inside, Tordoff wheels and scores.
Yeah, nice offense right there. And Tordoff, a hard dive or cut to the rim right there, made himself available, showed hands. And as you alluded to a couple different times, when Tordoff is involved offensively, they're just a much different looking team.
Jalen Hill bumping his way in. A little bit of contact there from Proctor, but he finished.
Yeah, and that's good because I mentioned it in the first half. When the resistance has come, when Hill has gone to the rim, he backs off. That time could have been called a foul. Took multiple shots of contact and played through it. And he should be. I mean, he's 6'7". He's strong. He's skilled. He's smart. But it's almost like Hill's sometimes as a player's a little too thoughtful and unselfish. Watch this. And that's a bull right there. There's multiple things that he has to go through against Proctor right there.
He's a big physical guy to get up next to Jalen Hill. Bigger than you might think, as C.J. Noland is out and Elijah Harkless returns to the Sooner lineup.
I think part of it is just the way that he moves, his versatility.
Trying to work his way up as Proctor finally got it to the rim, and Harkless has his miss. Harkless bumped and ridden down there by Jade C. That is 6 fouls against the Huskies in the half. You talk about the development of this roster for Porter Moser. What do I have? What guys can I rely upon when we get into conference play? Games like this go a long way toward helping you determine that as he goes back to his original 5. But we've seen a lot of guys off the bench, had a lot of glimpses at what they can do.
Yeah, the bench has got to continue to develop. You know, coaches, it's not always that you have to come off the bench and be an offensive juggernaut or statistically stuff the stat sheet. It's not that. Coaches want to know exactly what do they get out of you. You know, assuming you're giving great effort and providing, you know, a certain skill set, then the trust comes, and then that helps you as a basketball coach know when to insert you, when to play you. And so that part of it for Oklahoma, Chad, is important still to continue to develop that. And then those 5 starters who are going to play the bulk of the minutes, those guys have got to continue to progress. Harkless has got to score a little bit more, get downhill. We talked about Jalen Hill and needing to raise the level of his game offensively as well.
Harkless had knocked the ball away from C, and then C reached out and fouled him. Prevented what was probably going to be a Sooner dunk the other way.
Nice job. See Tanner Groves retreating, keeping him in that trap, so to speak, and then Harkless able to get his hands in there on C. Chad, if you look at Oklahoma defensively on the perimeter, when you throw out Goldwire, who was all ACC defensive player, he's a terrific on-ball defender. Harkless, you saw it right there. Chance to be a terrific on-ball defender. Gibson doesn't have much size, but he's a jet. Moves quick laterally. This should be...
And Jalen Hill when he's out there.
Right. Jalen Hill and his versatility. So they're all standing right there as we speak about them. But this should be a good defensive ball club. Now, they don't have the rim protector. Asanza can be that. But obviously, you got to have Tanner Groves on the floor, 32 minutes a game. But he can be a good, solid position defender, like we saw in the last possession when he had C in that trap with Harkless. But they should be a very good defensive team, particularly on the ball. They should cause problems, and they've done that tonight.
So Harkless, he's got some holes in there. I know they take great care of the jerseys. I don't think there are any moths that have been involved. I think he's been grabbed and held. Maybe somebody bit a chunk of his uniform off, Brendan.
What is that?
I don't know.
Like remember those old tearaway jerseys back in the day?
Oh, yeah. 15 on the shot clock here. Boothman against Emoji Gibson. Inside, Tordoff got free. Elijah Harkless swiped at that ball and prevented him from shooting it.
Yeah, and Tordoff expected contact from Groves, but Groves did not commit, and that threw him off.
Jalen Hill lost it on his drive on the baseline. Here comes JC. Tordoff again. This time Proctor swings in but misses. He got his own rebound and missed again. Third rebound for Jalen Hill. Harkless attacks and scores. Elijah quickly end to end. 20-point Sooner lead. Oklahoma pulling away a 25-point advantage in the second half. Corsalt is off the mark with that one. Here comes Harkless, relentless. Tanner Groves, another three. Jalen Hill trying to volleyball that one out. Is called for coming over the back. Sooners making it work, turning some good defense into offense. Grappling. You prefer wrestling or grappling, Brendan? You've done both, I know.
I'm not tough enough to do either one of those. Those guys are tough as nails.
Rick Asanza has checked in, impacting that shot taken by Corsalt. And out of bounds.
Yeah, it'd be great, Chad, this last 6:52, if Asanza can have some positive things happen. You know, this is a game that's tough to get him in. Some of these mid-majors that don't have much size and a lot are perimeter oriented. But again, like we talked about earlier tonight, it'd be great to be able to trust him in stretches during Big 12 conference play when the matchups are better.
That one slips off Asanza's fingertips. Good feed from Goldwire. Asanza just could not finish it. Whistle, foul off the ball. And they get Asanza for that one. We take a moment to remind you that Sooner basketball is brought to you by the Oklahoma Education Association. They fight unapologetically for every student across the state, no matter their zip code. So Eyemi, who has 4 fouls, will go to the foul line and splashes that one home. Both teams are in the bonus. What a second half it's been, though. HBU has scored 5 points. And I know they haven't shot it well, but that's a lot due to the way the Sooners have defended. And I think Porter Moser has felt with most of his guys, or a lot of his guys, the defense has maybe been even ahead of the offense they've played this year.
Yeah, I asked him that today. I mean, how he felt about it, particularly out in Myrtle Beach. And given where they are, you know, some youth on the team, a lot of new players. I mean, he said he felt good about it, and it'll continue to get better.
Eyemi works free inside, but misses the bunny. And here comes Elijah Harkless. Elijah has definitely had a different tempo about him in the second half.
Well, I was just thinking about that, Chad. He and Goldwire.
Harkless floats it to Asanza. That one went off the front of the rim and away. Five and a half left. Sooners lead by 19. C works his way back and forth. Missed the floater. Eyemi's tip is no good. And finally taken by Jacob Groves. Here's Harkless. Nice feed, and a foul on the forehead of Jacob Groves will send him to the foul line.
He has a nice break right there because you get Mason advancing the ball up the floor to Harkless. I always love that. There's so many guards, especially young guards, hold on to it too long. He gets it to Harkless. Harkless attacks, and then Groves a great job transitioning from defense to offense, just basically rim running right down the gut. It's a nice play between Harkless and Groves.
We'll take a moment to remind you that Sooner basketball is brought to you in part by Riverwind. Still the one. And now some more substitutions. Back in, Bijan Cortez. Alston Mason's been in for a bit. And we see Marvin Johnson replacing Elijah Harkless, whose tone and tenor have been difference makers in this half. Groves with 1 of 2 there, and 52-32 Sooners. HBU is 0 for its last 7 from the field. Lee works free on the baseline and missed again. HBU is 2 for 20 from the field in this half.
In the last handful of possessions, they've been getting looks at the rim.
Alston Mason with a good look from 3. And here comes Lee the other way. 7 rebounds for Lee. Mentioned he leads the Southland Conference in rebounding early in the season.
Yeah, he does his work quietly. I mean, if you could be that size and do it quietly, but really good player for Ron Copson.
That's 22 turnovers against HBU tonight. We see Tristan Moore, who's a freshman from Albuquerque, into the lineup for the first time. Ron Cottrell, 31st season as head coach, 5th longest tenured coach in the country.
I coached against
He's
him.
been coaching so long, you coached against him.
Yeah, in another lifetime. I'm 0-1, by the way.
Yeah, he got the better of you. It was a buzzer beater, though.
No, we were on the road.
You were on the road, lost on a buzzer beater.
Yeah, I think it was a layup, too. So it tells you about his coaching versus Mike. That's why I got out, and I'm doing this.
You were having to go against guys like Ron Cottrell, Marvin Johnson. Cole Maywin tips it. Sooners reset here.
I did see him at halftime, and he said, "You want to switch spots?" I said, "Nope." I said, "One way I'm smarter than you is I broadcast games, and I sleep at night."
Unbeaten for 20 years over here. Sooners a much different look here in half number 2 before a
simple as this. You have to, and Porter Moser, now that I think about it, said this to the guys at shoot-around. He said, right now, start getting your minds ready for the game so that when it's time for your body to be ready, you're good to go. And as an athlete, in any sport, really, it's up to you personally to know how to get yourself there. If you're too low, you're flat, and that's where Oklahoma was the first half, as an entire team. Chad, sometimes if you're too high, you're going to play a little bit of a frenzy and be too juiced up. There's a magic level to it. And this Oklahoma team, just being honest, when they get to conference play, cannot afford not to find that magic level. They have enough talent to compete, no doubt. They've got the coaching to do that. The talent level is going to keep getting better here over the next couple of years, but they can't afford to take possessions off. Mm-hmm. They have to be ready to go at all times. And tonight will probably be one of those teaching moments for Porter Moser on that subject itself, because it really hasn't been a problem through 5 games. It's the first half where they were flat.
You're so right, as we're going to see Jacob Groves to the foul line at shoot-around. Porter Moser said to his team, start getting your mind ready to play now. As Jacob Groves misses the first.
That's when you and I started doing it.
I got mine ready.
I was like, that's a good idea.
Been a solid night for Jacob Groves. 7 points off the bench, make it 8 now.
Yeah, I really like his confidence, particularly on the offensive end. He's going to have to continue to progress, Chad, defensively. And as you get into Big 12 play, because those matchups are difficult. He can do it, but he's going to have to be really sound and not relax at any moment defensively.
That's a 2 for Tristan Moore, his first bucket of the night. Under 3 minutes left, Bijan Cortez. Cole Maywin has entered the Sooner lineup. This is him. Shot clock down to 10 here for the Sooners. And Alston Mason's 3 off the side with 2 on the shot clock there. So the Sooners will get Thanksgiving off. They will travel to Orlando Friday and play UCF on Saturday afternoon, and what will be a tough team out of the American Conference. And then we showed you the home schedule of games coming up. It's going to be a fun December to watch this team learn and grow. And man, if this guy, Marvin Johnson, can be explosive as a scorer.
Yeah, really talented offensive player. There's no doubt about that. Mentioned he was first team Ohio Valley last year at Eastern Illinois. Rebounds, can be a playmaker. That would be a bonus and nice if he could just become more consistent.
Boothman spins but runs into Maywin, and Ieyemi lays it in for the Huskies. Minute 25 left, closing this one out. Pre-Thanksgiving hoops. As the Sooners are going to move to 5-1 on the season. Marvin Johnson gets one up, and that's out of bounds. Touched last by HBU. No shot clock reset. Sooners have been led by Elijah Harkless tonight, 13 points and 9 rebounds. Jordan Goldwire, the only other Sooner in double figures. So you think about it, they've got a 20-point lead, and their 2 leading scorers, Umoja Gibson and Tanner Groves, have combined for 9 tonight. So they have found other ways to get points from Harkless and Goldwire tonight, and that's going to happen from time to time.
It's going to happen because there are coaches in the Big 12 that will take away your top 1 or 2 guys, meaning they're not going to allow them to beat you. And then other times you may put it on one guy to do that. And so on those nights, they take away Groves, whether it's double teaming or maybe they have a defender that matches up well with him, and he can't get, because he's not a guy that's going to create his own shot. So it's very likely the potential is there to have nights where he only gets 6 or 7 looks, because he's not going to take bad shots either. And so you're exactly right. You have to have others step up with that capability.
A grind in the Big 12. Porter Moser is one of 6 coaches in the Big 12. 6 coaches out of 10 who have taken a team to the Final Four. And Jamie Dixon at TCU has taken a team at Pitt to the Elite 8.
Yeah, you'd think with one leaving and Lon Kruger that's taken multiple teams to Final Four, you should replace him with another.
That's exactly right.
No, definitely a coaches league. The Big 12 has been that. There's been a lot of great players come out of this league. Guys like Kevin Durant, etc. Blake Griffin, but Trae Young. but the coaches, I mean, it's probably top to bottom the best coaching league too.
Final few seconds of this one, a foul call there from behind against Jake Moser will send Tay Boothman to the free throw line. Good to get these guys some playing time as you travel with the teams and come to practices and shoot-arounds. You realize how valuable a lot of these players are. Scout team getting reps for the regular players in the rotation, but it's good for them to get a chance to see some time out here in front of the home crowd. Tay Boothman's got 7 points and 7 rebounds for HBU. HBU was game tonight, coached by Ron Cottrell, who's 2 wins shy of 500 for his career in his 31st season. They're going to beat some teams down the road, but not the Sooners tonight. Marvin Johnson going to dribble things out. Sooners will move to 5-1 on the season. HBU falls to 1-4. And Porter Moser some handshakes for the opposition to close things out. We welcome you into the Sooner Basketball Bud Light post-game show.